Can you imagine a country where US dollars are used to buy fried chicken on street corners, yet anyone without African blood is strictly forbidden from becoming a citizen? A place that boasts the second largest commercial fleet in the world, but has a luxurious five-star hotel now serving as a shelter for the homeless? Welcome to Liberia, a land of paradoxes. Are you ready to uncover 15 mind-blowing facts and taboos that make Liberia the quirkiest little America in Africa? 15. The most unusual African-American nation in the world. Can you believe that in the middle of Africa, there's a country with such a strong American influence? Welcome to Liberia, where people use US dollars to buy fried chicken, call each other Washington, Quincy, or Jefferson, live in towns named Virginia or Maryland, and still measure height in feet instead of meters. The Liberian flag has 11 red and white stripes, differing from the US flag only by having a single star instead of 50. Even the national anthem was written by an American composer with a classic 19th century American melody. And it's not just culture. Liberia's legal system, constitution, and units of measurement were all copied from early American models. In fact, Liberia is one of only 3 countries in the world, alongside the US and Myanmar, that still use the imperial system. Even their currency reflects this duality. Liberia does not have a central bank issuing its own stable money. Instead, both the Liberian dollar and the US dollar circulate. Unsurprisingly, the US dollar is preferred for its stability and modern feel. Why does this African nation resemble America so closely? The answer lies in history. In 1822, freed African Americans, former slaves, were sent back to Africa to establish a new homeland. They brought with them everything American, both the good and the bad, building a country in the image of their former home. So much so that Liberia is often called Little America in West Africa. Yet beneath that familiar surface lies a story of contradictions. A nation founded by people once denied equality, a country that sought to escape America's pain yet copied every detail of it. Liberia embraces American-style freedom but also carries deep historic wounds that remain unhealed. What do you think about Liberia? If you lived here, would it feel familiar, like coming home? Or would you feel caught between two worlds? Share your thoughts in the comments. 14. A 5-star hotel is now home to the homeless. In downtown Monrovia, Liberia's capital, a towering building still stands under the dusty, sunny sky, the Ducor Palace Hotel. When it opened in 1960, it was the very symbol of a modern West African dream. As West Africa's first 5-star hotel, it quickly became one of the continent's most luxurious spots, boasting 106 rooms, a seaside pool, a French restaurant, and a rooftop bar with breathtaking sunset views. Perched atop Mamba Point, it offered sweeping panoramas of the Atlantic Ocean and Monrovia's bustling port. Famous guests included Haile Selassie of Ethiopia, Idi Amin of Uganda, and top French dignitaries. But then came Liberia's civil war. In the late 1980s, chaos consumed Monrovia. Furniture was stripped, everything looted, and electricity and water cut off. By 1989, the hotel had closed its doors for good and has remained abandoned ever since. Today, the once luxurious Ducor Hotel houses the homeless, orphans, and refugees. Rooms that once overlooked the ocean now hold tattered blankets, makeshift campfires, and weary whispers in the night. What was once a paradise for the elite is now a shelter for the forgotten. For more than 30 years, Liberia's government has promised to restore the hotel. In 2008, a deal was even signed with Libyan investors, but after Gaddafi's fall, the project was abandoned once again. 13. The steel roses of Liberia's streets. On the dusty, pothole-ridden streets of Monrovia, a striking sight catches the eye. Women in bright pink jackets and helmets zipping through traffic on old motorbikes. They are the Pink Panthers, Liberia's first and only all-female motorcycle taxi team. In a society where women once faced ridicule for riding bikes among men, the Pink Panthers are a bold rebellion. Founded in 2015 by 10 single mothers, widows, and survivors of domestic violence, these women aren't just earning a living. They are redefining strength and independence. Riding through chaotic traffic, facing robberies, and brushing off gossip, they carry a message. We can earn, we can live, and we will protect ourselves. Their pink jackets are more than uniforms, they are symbols of defiance. One panther famously chased a thief into a market and knocked him down with her helmet. While many male drivers avoid trouble, the panthers act as two-wheeled bodyguards, ferrying children, helping the elderly, and even driving at night when others hesitate. Though their income is modest, their reputation is priceless. In a country full of gender barriers, these steel roses are not just drivers, they are breaking ground and reshaping what it means to be a strong woman in Africa. So 1/3 of marriages are polygamous. Liberia may use US dollars and have an American-style constitution, but when it comes to marriage, customs differ sharply from the West. Here, polygamy is widely accepted. In fact, 1 in 3 marriages in Liberia is polygamous. For every 3 husbands, one has 2 or more wives. This is possible because Liberia operates under 2 parallel legal systems, modern law and customary law. Modern law, inspired by the U.S., recognizes only monogamous marriages, but customary law, followed by nearly 60% of rural Liberians, allows men to take up to 4 wives. Traditional wedding ceremonies require no paperwork, no court registration, just a dowry, often a goat or palm wine, and family approval. While this may seem like freedom of choice, for many women it's a trap. 2nd, 3rd, or 4th wives often have no legal rights. When a husband dies in a country where the average life expectancy is just 63, widows without official marriage certificates lose everything. Many are even forced into levirate marriage, a tradition where they must marry the deceased husband's brother. The real monkey kingdom exists in Liberia. Back in 1974, the film Planet of the Apes shocked audiences with visions of apes ruling the earth. But while Hollywood was imagining, Liberia was living it. Not far from Monrovia lies a place locals call Monkey Island, a true chimpanzee kingdom with no humans, no laws, and no tourist fences. The island is home to more than 60 chimpanzees, all survivors of decades-long medical experiments funded by American organizations that ended in the early 2000s. When the project finished, researchers faced a tough question: what to do with chimps that couldn't return to the wild or live with humans? The answer was isolation. Monkey Island became their permanent home. The chimps are provided with daily food from the mainland, receive regular health checkups, and live entirely by their own rules. But this is not just an animal welfare story. Villagers in nearby Marshall worry about angry chimps. Some believe they could harm people, making Monkey Island infamous as a beast island, though there is no official proof of attacks. Brave tourists can visit by renting a small canoe for $5 to $10, but only to circle the island. No one is allowed ashore. Get too close and the chimps may throw mangoes or branches at your boat as a warning. Liberia's airlines are banned from Europe. You might not know that Liberia was once firmly on the EU's blacklist alongside countries with the world's worst aviation safety records such as Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, Sierra Leone, and Sudan. The reason? Liberian registered planes were considered high accident risks. They lacked proper inspections, failed to meet technical standards, and were often used for flags of convenience registrations. As a result, in the 2000s, the EU officially banned all Liberian-registered aircraft from landing in its territory. Ironically, by 2006, Liberia Airways, the country's last national airline, went bankrupt. Since then, Liberia has had no legally operating airline. What does that mean? If you're Liberian, you cannot board a plane bearing your national flag. There is no airline representing your country to the world. You must fly with foreign carriers, often with layovers and detours. For example, to get to Monrovia from Europe, you'll likely fly through Morocco, stop in Casablanca, and then continue. No direct flights, no local carriers, and the aviation woes don't stop there. The Liberian passport is also among the weakest globally, granting visa-free access to only about 40 countries, mostly within West Africa. After bloody civil wars and waves of illegal migration, many countries have tightened visa requirements for Liberians, including Canada, Australia, and Switzerland, destinations once accessible, now much harder to reach. Some of Africa's cleanest cities are in Liberia. When we think of the world's cleanest air, we often imagine peaceful fields in New Zealand, Swiss mountains, or Australia's cool beaches. But here's a surprise: Liberia. The World Health Organization recently ranked Liberia among the top 10 countries with the cleanest air. In its latest report, WHO measured air quality in 1,622 urban areas across 92 countries. Australia led, followed by Brunei, New Zealand, and remarkably Liberia, which beat out major powers like Spain, Japan, the US, and the UK for the 10th spot. In Liberia, you don't need to escape the city to breathe easy. Even in urban areas like Monrovia and Buchanan, fine particle pollution is extremely low, lower than in many European capitals. Morning air in Monrovia carries the cool scent of the ocean and forests, while Buchanan, a coastal port city, is nicknamed the ocean lung for its fresh, clean sea breezes untouched by industry. Liberia's clean air owes much to the lack of large industrial zones, fewer vehicles, a low population density, and the fact that over 40% of its land is still rainforest. All of this creates a pure ecosystem that modern cities long to restore. In some suburbs, you'll hear birds more than engines, and after a short rain you can smell the forest freshness in the air. The only country that bans citizenship based on bloodline. Think racial discrimination is a thing of the past? In Liberia, the opposite is shockingly true. While much of the world embraces globalization and integration, Article 27 of Liberia's constitution, enacted in 1986, still bans anyone without African ancestry from becoming a citizen or owning land, even if they've lived there for decades, married locals, or invested millions. This isn't some obscure legal clause, it's a racial barrier written directly into the Constitution and enforced for nearly 40 years. If you're a foreigner without African roots, you can only lease land, never own it, even if you build factories, schools, or contribute heavily to the economy. And citizenship? Forget it, unless your ancestors are African. The paradox runs deep. Liberia, a nation founded as a refuge for people escaping discrimination, has itself become one of the few countries that closes constitutional doors to those without shared bloodlines. Many business people from Asia, the Middle East, and Europe must rely on long-term leases, unable to buy property outright. While most of the world opens pathways for residency, investment, and citizenship, Liberia maintains a legal wall that goes against the global tide. Number 7. Kickball is a women-only sport. In Liberia, there's a unique sport the world barely knows: kickball, or baseball played with your feet. No bats, no gloves, no men, just a rubber ball, an open field, and women ready to kick away stereotypes. Kickball was created in the 1960s by Cherry Jackson, an American volunteer teaching at a girls' school in Monrovia. What makes it special is that the sport is almost exclusively for Liberian women. Across the country, you'll see kickball games in parks, schoolyards, and even empty lots. For many girls, it's more than a game, it's a moment of unity, a childhood memory, and a symbol of female strength. Liberia now plans to expand kickball to neighboring countries and may even allow men to join, a big step toward professionalizing the sport. But challenges remain: lack of funding, limited playing fields, and most importantly, recognition for women's sports in a region where female athletes rarely get the respect they deserve. Some women once tried being men by wearing suits to job hunt. In some parts of the world, women fight for equality. In Liberia, some have gone so far as to disguise themselves as men just to apply for jobs. One documented case tells of a Liberian woman who, after repeated rejections for a driver's position, dressed in a man's suit, used a fake name, and disguised herself as male to try her luck. The result? She was hired immediately. No one suspected anything, until her gentle voice gave her away and co-workers began asking questions. As unbelievable as it sounds, this is a true story, not a joke. It reflects the harsh reality in many parts of Liberia where the idea that women are weak still runs deep, especially in jobs like driving, engineering, security, or construction. This inequality doesn't just come from tradition. It's built into hiring practices, from gender-biased job ads to suspicious looks when women apply for men's work. For many, especially single mothers or war survivors, finding a job isn't just tough, it can mean giving up their identity. Number 5. Liberia has the world's second-largest commercial fleet. Did you know nearly 1 in 8 ships worldwide flies the flag of a poor West African country? Not the US, not China, Liberia. It sounds unbelievable, but Liberia, a small nation in West Africa, has the world's second-largest commercial fleet, just behind Panama. Around 12% of all ships globally are registered under Liberia's flag, even though most have never docked in Monrovia or hired Liberian crew. Why? It's all about flags of convenience, a system that allows ship owners from the US, Greece, Japan, or China to dodge strict tax, labor, insurance, and safety laws by registering in Liberia. The Liberian government is famous for its loose maritime regulations, with minimal standards for wages, safety, and sailors' rights. According to the Liberian Registry, ironically run by an American company, this model is praised as a symbol of safe and secure global shipping. But reality tells a different story. Liberia earns little real profit from over 4,000 ships flying its flag, since most registration fees go to foreign companies. Yet ship registration fees still make up nearly 25% of the nation's tax revenue, making it a financial lifeline that's hard to abandon. Former President Charles Taylor was even accused of funneling some of this money into shady or illegal projects. Number 4, don't call elders by their first names. In Liberian culture, respect for elders is no joke. Titles matter, and skipping polite prefixes is seen as disrespectful. You might call a market lady Ma Martha, an older driver Uncle Sam, and even strangers expect you to use a respectful title before their name. In the workplace or when dealing with officials, using the wrong form of address can make you look rude or, just culturally ignorant. Liberia may be an English-speaking country, but don't assume its social rules are as relaxed as in the West. Here, politeness is the foundation of community life. So if you visit Monrovia or peaceful seaside villages, just add Mr. or Ma before a name and you'll likely be greeted with a warm smile. Number 3. Liberia's products secretly reach the world. You won't often find Made in Liberia labels at Walmart or IKEA, but don't be fooled. Liberia is quietly woven into the global economy. Since the early 20th century, Liberia's giant rubber plantations, especially those run by Firestone, have supplied raw materials to the global tire industry. Countless trucks, cars, and airplanes worldwide have run on rubber tapped from Liberian land, even though the country's name never appears on the tires. Liberian timber, once over-harvested during the Civil War, but now slowly recovering under sustainable forestry programs, Liberia has built homes, floors, and beams from Europe to the Middle East. Strong structures across the globe may have begun in this small nation. Even your morning coffee might connect to Liberia. The Liberica coffee variety, native to Liberia, is increasingly popular in Southeast Asia for its bold, smoky flavor and high caffeine. Though little known, Liberica is making its mark in specialty coffee scenes in the Philippines, Vietnam, and Malaysia. Number 2, a hidden surfing paradise. When you think of world-class surfing, you probably imagine Hawaii, Bali, or Costa Rica. But one of the world's most pristine surf beaches lies in West Africa, right on Liberia's coast. About 50 miles northwest of Monrovia, the small town of Robertsport sits between rainforest and the Atlantic. Here, waves break left for up to 1,000 feet with a naturally curved bay, creating near-perfect surf conditions for both beginners and pros. Surfer magazine once called Robertsport Africa's best secret surf spot, while National Geographic described it as the Hawaii of the 1940s, untouched and pure. But this wild beauty comes without modern tourism infrastructure. No big hotels, no luxury resorts, even electricity is patchy and Wi-Fi is as weak as the night waves. Oddly enough, that's what makes it so appealing. With year-round temperatures between 80 and 95 degrees Fahrenheit, golden sand, warm sea, and rainforest right by the beach, Robertsport is a paradise, one that almost no tourists know about. If you crave authenticity, dislike commercialization, and want to go somewhere even Google has few reviews, Robertsport is the ocean's whisper you shouldn't miss. Number 1, dual citizenship was banned. Until 2022, Liberia was one of the few countries that absolutely banned dual citizenship. Under the 1986 Constitution, any Liberian who took another nationality automatically lost Liberian citizenship. No trial, no notice. As a result, over 500,000 Liberians living in the US, Canada, Australia, and Europe, though born at home and still sending money back, lost their rights. They couldn't own land, couldn't vote, and certainly couldn't run for office. In 2022, after years of debate, Liberia finally relaxed the law, officially allowing dual citizenship, but with strict limits. If you are Liberian and also American, French, or British, you cannot run for president, serve as vice president, become an ambassador, or hold top financial or security posts such as defense minister, finance minister, or central bank governor. The contradiction is clear. Even as former President George Weah declared that the Liberian diaspora is part of our nation's blood, the law still locks them out of real power. We've just explored 15 shocking facts and taboos about Liberia. Which one amazed you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy unique discoveries like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next adventure.